Shut up.
So stupid.
Pie Alley, downtown Los Angeles.
Why don't you just say that? Say, in this week's episode is Pie LA in downtown Los Angeles.
When? Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
In this week's episode, Pie Alley in downtown Los Angeles. What?
So Pie LA, downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Hard to find.
Because it's in an alley. Yeah.
It's in and out. It's called Harlem Place. It's between Spring and Main on 4th Street. And there is a little sign on the gate to the alley. If you're looking for it, you'll find that.
Yeah, it's a printed banner.
And then you go down the alley and then you'll see it says Pie LA above the entrance. Once you get inside, it's this cavernous space, very large space.
Large space.
I'd say close to 80 seats, pretty large for space in an alley like that.
I think the space was large enough where they could put more seating in there.
Probably. It was very modern. It has like a space AG feel to the interior.
I thought it was a little retro-y.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought, it was interesting space. I hope people can find it. The thing about it, though, that is interesting is the restaurant is Pie LA is trying to. It's owned by Octavio Becerra, who I met, along with his girlfriend Grace Min, who owns another restaurant in town called 8 in Koreatown.
Yeah,
and I think 8 refers to 8 flavors or something like that. It's 8 flavors in their kind of menu. So that's how they got the number 8 in the name of the menu.
Well, so the way they spell 8 is E!GHT.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay. Interesting.
It's right there.
Oh, yeah. That's their title. All right. So yeah, I met Octavio and Grace a few months back, and very nice. And Octavio was explaining to me that he has this kind of grand ambition to create an LA style pizza. There's Detroit style, there's Chicago style, there's New York style, there's New Haven style, there's Roman style. There's literally all these different kinds of styles of pizza, and he wanted LA to have its own style. So this is how he came up with.
Which is interesting because when you go up to order your pizza, she describes the pizza as
Detroit style, which kind of defeats the purpose. But I think the reason why she said that is because when people want to know what kind it is, if you say LA style, they're not going to know what you mean. So I think the closest thing that you could probably compare it to.
Well, then she should say
would be a Detroit style. Yeah. So it's not really Detroit style. It's similar. It's got a thick crust. So in that way it's similar, and it's in a pan, cooked in a pan.
Okay.
So I think that's where the similarity starts, and that's where it stops. It's a much lighter pizza, though. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
So we had 2 different pizzas there. We had the Soul Kitchen.
Let's go with the Little Red Corvette first.
Okay.
The Little Red Corvette.
The Little Red Corvette, which is their version of the margarita,
which I thought was great. It had like chili pepper in it, or something like a dried chili, some kind of chili pepper in it, which gave it a kick, which is what I've been looking for in a margarita pizza, because the margaritas to me are just so plain and bland and ugh. This was great.
Yeah, it had a slight kick to it. I couldn't tell what was causing it, but what ingredient was creating that kick. But yeah, it definitely had a slight kick to it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty good. Not my favorite margarita, honestly. It was good, but it was not. I prefer the thin crust margarita. That was not my favorite of the 2. The one that I really liked was the other one that we had, which is called the Soul Kitchen. Soul is not spelled S-O-U-L, it's spelled S-E-O-U-L, as in the city of Seoul in South Korea.
Yeah.
So, and how they came up with that name is because of, obviously, Octavio's girlfriend, Grace Min, owns the restaurant 8, and it was a collaboration between 8 Korean Barbecue and Pie LA. So that's the kind of the Korean version of paella. So, and there is a restaurant, actually, I saw this on Netflix. There's a restaurant in Minneapolis, and there's this Korean chef. Her name is Ann Kim, and she does the kimchi pizza. And that's the one thing that everyone kind of goes to her restaurant for, because she's Korean and she created a restaurant that, is kind of focused on that pizza, and it kind of created a whole kind of stir in kind of the pizza world, apparently. So I guess this is Grace Min's kind of riff on that particular kind of pizza as well.
Well, what were the toppings? You didn't mention that.
Well, yep, lots of different cousin toppings on there. There were there's pork belly, shiitake mushrooms, kimchi, tomato sauce, shaved Asian pear, spicy crispy bacon, and greens on the pizza.
So on the menu there at the restaurant, it's the spicy crispy bacon was actually the K-Town, which is Koreatown, spicy crispy bacon, because it had a Korean spicy barbecue sauce on it. I thought it was great. We talked about we're not going to compare restaurants, but it's hard not to, because the first restaurant.
It's okay to compare.
The first restaurant that we went to was De La Nonna.
Yep.
And I thought the pork belly pizza there was awesome. But I would tell you what, this one beat that one 100%. This pizza, pork belly pizza, was the best, hands down, of the two. And we actually gave high praises to De La Nonna, but this one was awesome.
Well,
it's worth a try.
Yeah, it's hard for me to compare the two, because I remember the other one, the De La Nonna version, is like a more farmer's market pizza. It has more, the flavors are a little bit more bright, I guess is the best way to describe it. This is the Soul Kitchen I thought was very rich. It's a very rich pizza, very rich in flavors, very complex flavors. So, I thought both were good. I thought this was good as well. But it's hard for me to compare the two because they're so uniquely different. So I'm gonna give paella a thumbs up, for sure. I would go back if I was in the area. I would probably want to try some other ones though.
Yeah, I would give it a 100% a thumbs up. Yeah, I would definitely order a pizza, take it home, and enjoy it at home.
And the other thing I forgot to mention is that the place is decorated with Shepard Fairey. It looks like original artwork, which I thought was kind of interesting. So they somehow did a collab with Shepard Fairey, who is very famous for the Obama Hope poster, and also a lot of other famous works. He's obviously in the city, all over the city, but they did several murals inside of the interior space.
Yeah, one of the other things that the young lady at the counter, by the way, staff, she was great. They were great, very open, personable, engaging, great personalities, nice, very nice. But she also mentioned that they're going to be creating their own baked goods, and they're going to be making ice cream sandwiches as well.
Ooh, ice cream sandwiches. Yum.
Yeah, well, we didn't get any.
That would be a reason. That would be a reason to go back.
But
all right, so the next place that we're going to try out is going to be Danny Boy's on Bunker Hill in the Wells Fargo Center in downtown LA.
Yeah, we're going to stay in downtown LA.
Who says they do a traditional New York style pizza.
We'll see how traditional it is.